being a human being.
Survive outside the womb after
And like, you wouldn't be able to survive outside of Earth's environment, right? But you're not less of a human being if you were launched into space. You just wouldn't be able to survive anymore, right? So people need to live in certain environments in certain stages of life, but that doesn't make them less human. It doesn't make them less valuable. Yeah, so God hates this. You know, this is the shedding of innocent blood. The Bible said that God hates the shedding of innocent blood.
No.
Yes, God does hate it. Yes.
I go to church every Sunday, and I don't think I've seen that in the Bible.
Fair to
Oh no, read the book of Proverbs. In the book of Proverbs, it says that God hates the hands that shed innocent blood.
Say there's like a 5-year-old who's orphaned and there's nobody to take care of them. Do we just like euthanize them so that they don't have to have a hard life?
That is not the same. Realize that it's all of you guys saying this right now. Not even one single female.
I mean, a 1-year-old doesn't have a body.
But you shouldn't discriminate based on.
They have like, yeah, compared to like that.
But your value isn't determined on whether you're conscious or not, right?
Yeah, there's none of
Like
the
somebody who's in a coma, you don't get to kill people who are in a coma, right?
That's like ants. Like,
No.
someone, if you're brain dead, you're not conscious. There's no point in
That's what
being
people
there.
know.
That's
Oh,
why
no.
you can euthanize.
You shouldn't kill anybody, right? That's God says, "Thou shalt not murder." That's God's command. You can't ever disobey that command.
Do you guys just use the Bible and the Ten Commandments to support this?
We do use the Bible to support this, and just like basic logic. And God gave us logic. He gave us minds to use to make sense of reality because He created our minds.
But do you also realize that it's only guys saying this right now?
There's a lot of women out there.
Well, she's pro-life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women who speak out.
There was a March for Life just last weekend, and there were thousands of women there. And there were women that spoke. I heard them on YouTube. You know,
So let's
there's a
say,
whole group
let's
of nuns
say a woman
called the
gets
Sisters of
raped,
Life.
right? She gets raped, and she accidentally gets pregnant. You just expect her to raise this child who's
Yes.
the person,
Yes.
Circumstances that you can have
and know who the father is.
She should always love her baby no matter what the circumstance
She has
is.
no way of taking care of that child.
There's never a situation where murder is justified.
That's a long story.
You know, there's adoption. There are people who can help her out.
Do you think
You don't need to murder the baby.
After
talking.
building a
Yeah,
connection
thanks.
for 9 months with the baby inside of you, you're just gonna randomly be able to give it away like that? Like, you built a connection with your child.
Right, but I mean, we shouldn't murder the child. We should always love the child.
It's not even a child. Does that look like a child to you?
Yeah.
Not really.
The Bible describes pregnant women as with child.
It's literally a piece of blood.
No, you're discriminating them based on what they look like. It's a human being who they were living in the first months of life.
So, like, if that abortion threatens the mother's safety, like if the mom might die, she continues the pregnancy, that's still a no?
No, you never ever get to disobey God's command to not murder. There's never a time where it's okay.
Life is at risk.
Yes, she should trust God and ask God to intervene, but just because her life may be at risk doesn't mean that gives her the right to murder her baby.
But God honestly put doctors on this earth for a reason. And honestly, after God, I think doctors are here to save you.
Well, no, I mean, God can intervene at any time, and He can heal at any time.
But obviously there's doctors there for a reason, and if a doctor
Officer,
says you gotta
I have a
do
question.
that or else you're gonna die,
Can we
and
just hold the signs in the air?
doesn't even have a way of living yet, you gotta
Can we
take
hold the
care
signs
of
in the
it.
air?
If the mother's not there to take care of it, that child is just what?
I mean, it's kind of a.
Are you gonna give me a citation for
Well,
no reason?
no,
Can I speak with you?
you're discriminating, and you're making.
It's kind of just like not benefiting the mom. The mom.
What, that's a little.
Body change.
That's a little individual, unique person, unlike any other person who's ever existed, and they need to grow in those stages of development, and you're discriminating against them based on their age and their size.
I said the baby
Is a parasite.
The mom isn't gaining anything from the pregnancy if she doesn't want it in the first place, and it's not benefiting her body.
But she shouldn't be. It's not about the mother. It's about loving people, right? It's about loving children, you know. And like, she shouldn't be selfish. She should see her baby as a blessing from God, you know.
She doesn't believe in God.
Well, she should.
But what if she? There's tons of religions. You can't like.
Well, that's why we call people to believe in God and Jesus Christ.
Situation. If God knows she doesn't want a baby, God knows she doesn't want to go through that. Why would God put her in this situation?
I don't know why God does everything He does. but he works everything according to the counsel of his will. And no matter what situation you're in, it's never justifiable to murder your own baby. Even if doctors say that your life is at risk, there's never a time where you can put another person to death,
So
an
you
innocent
think
person to death.
If a 13-year-old gets pregnant, she should keep that baby too?
Wait, what?
Can you say that again?
So if like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old gets pregnant, you think she should keep that baby too?
Yes. There's never a time when you can murder someone. No matter what happens.
Well,
We should love everyone and take care of everyone, right? Instead of discriminating.
Okay.
I guess that's the disconnect because you consider that thing like an actual person, like a but we don't like.
Right, because you're discriminating. You're discriminating based on age
like,
and
it's
size.
science. Like it's not the same thing as an actual.
So if life
Why?
begins at conception, so when you're first conceived, you're just a ball of cells, like no human form or anything, and it's the same for every single species.
I mean, you also have a soul.
The same. You don't have a soul.
Yeah, you do.
Conception. But would you value this ball of cells over a 5-year-old if there's a burning building? You only have time to save one. Which would you save?
You could save either of them, right? Because they're both equal. They're both equal in value. Because they're both human beings created in the image of God. That's why we have value. Our value is not determined by how developed we are.
5-year-old has more experience. It
Actual
has
people, like
an actual
people.
personality.
That
looks
rather
like a
than
cockroach.
you can't compare
These
like
are people.
this to
Sperm
the
and egg.
Holocaust.
But that embryo is simply less developed.
These are people.
And you're condemning to death people who are less developed when every human being needs to be in that stage of being less developed. And your value does not come from how developed you are.
There are born people.
Like
who don't have
using that logic, you could discriminate against 5-year-old kids and say, hey, you're not as developed as this 18-year-old guy. You don't have as much abilities. You don't have as many mental abilities as this 18-year-old. So now we can discriminate against you and we can kill you if we want.
Are you recording without a permission?
I am recording, but I don't need your permission because I'm on a public easement, I think.
This is Niles North property. It's a high school.
Well, even if I was on, even if I am on private, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Because students here are old enough to murder their children, and they need to know. For example, when I was in high school, I grew up in the public school system. I wish that Christians had brought these things to my high school, because even as a non-Christian, maybe I would have seen injustice and asked, what can I do to stop this? And no Christians ever did that.
Did that bother you? If
What?
someone else's- how did that affect you if someone else had an abortion?
Well, it affects me because
I'm not a denomination.
it affects me because when you see an injustice, I mean,
We're the
normal
Abolitionist
person
Society
says,
of
"I need to do
Aurora."
something about that. I just let it go.
Yeah.
But you also know with somebody else.
No, I just do this when I can. I have a job.
Like you have no words in saying
I'm a minivan driver.
I do have to say when they're murdering my neighbor.
I mean, we have a freedom of speech.
But it's not your child.
It's my neighbor.
If it's your child,
I became a Christian,
Not as close as your neighbor as you
I
are with
think
family,
maybe
so it shouldn't
around
even
15
be
years
your
ago.
business that your neighbor-
Well, just like anybody becomes a Christian, the Holy Spirit filled me and He changed my heart, and I repented of my sin, and I decided to follow Jesus Christ. I believe there's a moment where I changed, and like my lifestyle changed somewhat, and even since then,
Let's go. I'm too cold.
the Holy Spirit has really changed me in the last few years. I desire justice, and I'm seeking to build God's kingdom when I wasn't before.
I can tell you when I grew up when I was in high school,
Oh, like,
I never heard one.
I want to say something about to like personally. I know you're like recording and like.
Okay,
I don't know.
I can turn it off.